All right, dive in with us today as we unpack this research paper about a new AI model called Baichuan-Omni. You've really piqued our curiosity with your notes on it, especially your interest in getting past all the technical jargon to understand what this whole open source AI breakthrough really means.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's certainly generated a lot of buzz in the AI community.
We're looking at excerpts from this paper titled, get this, Baichuan-Omni Technical Report, which, let's be honest, doesn't exactly scream must read unless you're fluent in AI.
Yeah.
So to kick things off, what exactly is Baichuan-Omni, and why should we even care in a world already going bonkers over things like ChatGPT?
That's a great question. To put it simply, Baichuan-Omni is this new AI model developed by researchers over at Baichuan Inc. And the Omni part of that name, that's the real kicker. It's designed to understand and interact with information from multiple sources, like images, videos, audio, and of course text all at the same time.
So it's like a super AI with a more well-rounded understanding of the world, not just another chatbot spitting out text.
Exactly. Humans, we experience the world through multiple senses, right? Well, Baichuan-Omni is designed to do the same. That's what we call a multimodal large language model, or MLLM for short.
Okay, makes sense. But we already have AI that can process images and text, don't we? What makes this Baichuan-Omni so groundbreaking?
This is where things get really interesting. Baichuan-Omni, it's open source, as in the researchers are making all their code, their findings freely available. Anyone, and I mean anyone, can access it, study it, modify it, even build upon it. And that's almost unheard of with really advanced AI. Usually these models are kept super secret, under lock and key, by these massive tech companies.
So instead of the recipe for this amazing AI being stashed away in some tech giant's vault, it's like they're publishing it for the whole world to see and use. That's pretty revolutionary.
It really is, and that's exactly why it's causing such a stir. We could be looking at a real game changer here. By making this tech open, they're essentially, and I don't use this word lightly, democratizing access to this level of AI.
Yeah, I can definitely see why folks are calling it a game changer. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's break down some of the technical stuff. The paper keeps mentioning that Baichuan-Omni is 7B. What does that even mean?
Ah, good catch. You're right. We should clarify that. So the 7B, it refers to 7 billion parameters.
Parameters.
Yeah, parameters. They're essentially these values that the AI model uses to process and understand information. It can get pretty complex, but a simple way to think about it is that parameters, they determine how the AI connects different pieces of information together.
So more parameters equals a more sophisticated ability for it to, make connections and learn.
Precisely. And while 7 billion might not sound like a lot compared to some models out there, some have hundreds of billions, even trillions of parameters for Baichuan-Omni to be achieving these kinds of results at 7B. That's really impressive.
It's like this small but mighty engine that could. So how did they manage to pack so much power into this model? What's the secret sauce?
Well, three things. A massive, and I mean massive, amount of data, a super clever 3-stage training process, and of course some seriously brilliant minds behind it all.
Okay, let's break that down a bit. Let's start with the data. What kind of information did they feed this AI?
We're talking about a massive data set of, well, everything. Text, images, videos, and audio. Think captions, speech, even charts, a really diverse range of real-world information. They used a combination of readily available open-source data, some synthetic data, and even some internally annotated data just to make sure the AI was exposed to as much variety as possible.
So it's not enough to just throw a bunch of data at it. You need that diverse diet, so to speak, for it to really learn effectively.
Exactly. And that brings us to that 3-stage training process we talked about, which is carefully designed to make sure the AI knows what to do with all that data.
All right, hit me with step 1.
Step 1 is all about what's called, and get ready for this, multimodal alignment. This first stage, it focuses on getting each data type, so your images, your videos, your audio, to work in sync with the text-based language model at the heart of it all. It's kind of like, think about teaching your senses to talk to the language processing part of your brain.
So instead of each sense operating in isolation, you're teaching them to work together, much like they do in our own brains.
Precisely. And that, my friend, brings us to step 2, multitask fine-tuning.
Multitask fine-tuning. Catchy.
Right. So now that the model can process all these different data types, the researchers, They hit it with a whole bunch of tasks, things like describing what's happening in a video, answering questions about pictures, even translating speech to text. They basically wanted to make sure it wasn't a one-trick pony, but could handle a whole range of challenges.
Like they're putting this AI through the ringer, making sure it can handle anything you throw at it.
Exactly. And that rigorous training, it's absolutely crucial for building a truly intelligent system, something that can really think on its feet.
Okay, so they've aligned the senses, they've put it through boot camp. What's the final stage in this training montage? What's the grand finale?
You're ready for the grand finale? Well, it's called omni-modal alignment. And this is where it all comes together, all those different senses working in perfect harmony, seamlessly. It's not just about understanding, say, a picture and a caption separately. It's about getting the AI to understand how they relate to each other and to any other sensory input it's receiving all at once.
So they're teaching this AI to see the bigger picture, to connect all the dots, just like we do when we're navigating the world.
That is a fantastic way to put it. And this is where the potential applications get really, really exciting. Imagine this. An AI that can watch a video, listen to the dialogue, even read the subtitles, and then, from all of that, answer really complex questions about the plot, the characters' motivations, even, get this, predict what might happen next.
Okay, now that sounds seriously impressive. Have the researchers actually, given any concrete examples of what Baichuan-Omni can do?
Oh yeah, they put Baichuan-Omni through a whole battery of tests, benchmarking it against other models, other open source ones, even some of the big hush-hush proprietary ones. And get this, it actually outperformed the other open source models on a whole bunch of tasks, especially when it came to understanding and reasoning about images, videos, that sort of thing. It seems like they've really unlocked a whole new level of AI capability, and the coolest part, they're sharing all the secrets, laying it all out there for the world.
That's incredible. But how does it stack up against those top-tier models? The ones still shrouded in secrecy?
Well, it's not quite at the level of, say, a GPT-4o, not yet at least. But remember, it's still early days for this tech. What's really interesting is that the researchers, they found that Baichuan-Omni's performance, it gets even better, significantly better, when you increase the resolution of the data it's working with, the number of frames it processes, and of course the overall volume of data. It's like they're saying, look what we can achieve with this. Now imagine what you could do with even more firepower.
And that's what makes this whole open source thing so incredibly thrilling. It's not just about this one model. It's about giving that power to the entire AI community to innovate.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears just a little bit here. The researchers, they also highlighted some areas where, well, they're hoping to see some big improvements in this whole omni-modal AI space.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through some of those areas? What are they hoping to see?
Yeah, so one area they're really interested in is improving text extraction from visual data. So right now, AI can, see text in images and videos, but imagine a model that can actually get the nuance of it. Understand handwriting, maybe even decipher text in these really complex, cluttered scenes.
Man, that would be absolutely revolutionary. And for so many different fields, too. I'm thinking accessibility, education, historical research even. Wow. What other advancements are on the horizon?
Well, they're also looking into pushing the limits of how much video these models can process at once. Right now, they're kind of limited by, computational power in the model's memory. But just imagine an AI that could watch and actually understand an entire movie or even like a whole season of a TV show.
I don't know about you, but I'm both intrigued and slightly terrified to think what my Netflix recommendations would look like with an AI like that analyzing my every viewing habit.
Yeah.
But what about the audio side of things? Any cool developments on that front?
Oh, absolutely. This is where it gets, well, a little bit sci-fi, to be honest. They're working on creating a fully integrated text-to-speech system. So think about it, an AI that can not only understand and generate text, but also actually speak it in a way that is, well, pretty much indistinguishable from a human being.
Okay, yeah, we're definitely venturing into Black Mirror territory now.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to even wrap my head around an AI having that level of nuanced understanding of human speech.
Mind-blowing, right? And it goes beyond just human voices, too. The researchers, they want to see these models really expand their auditory horizons, so to speak. Like, they want AI that can understand all kinds of sounds, everything from, bird songs and rustling leaves to car engines and machinery, that sort of thing.
Man, that would be an absolute game changer for fields like environmental monitoring, maybe even medical diagnosis. Like, imagine an AI that can hear a super subtle heart murmur that a doctor might miss on the first pass. We're talking about a whole world of possibilities, really. But I have to admit, it's also a little bit, well, daunting. all of this.
Yeah, no doubt. It's exciting for sure, but it's also a lot to take in, I mean, the sheer potential of all this technology. But let's bring it back to, well, why we're here. We've talked about what Baichuan-Omni is, how it works, all the cool things it can do. But what does it all really mean, especially this whole open source approach? What happens when AI, when something as powerful is suddenly accessible to, well, anyone? That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to their credit, the researchers, they do acknowledge this in their paper. We could be on the verge of a tidal wave of creativity, of innovation. Think about it. Independent developers, researchers, artists, everyone and their grandmother will have access to this kind of AI.
So we could see anything from like groundbreaking apps we haven't even dreamed up yet to entirely new forms of art and expression. It's like someone just handed out a set of incredibly powerful tools and said, all right, everybody, let's see what you can build.
Exactly. But, and this is a big but, just like any powerful tool, there are inherent risks that come with that level of accessibility.
Yeah, that makes sense. What kind of risks are we talking about here? What's the catch?
Well, for starters, without the right safeguards, we could see this technology being used for, let's say, less than noble purposes. We could be looking at incredibly convincing deepfakes, manipulation on a massive scale, even the development of autonomous weapon systems. This isn't just about cool tech anymore. It's about some seriously complex ethical considerations that we need to be having, like yesterday.
It sounds like we're not just stepping into uncharted territory technologically, but ethically too. This isn't just about the how of AI anymore. It's about the should we and the if we do, then how of it all.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's why it's more critical now than ever before to be having these conversations, to really think through the potential consequences, the unintended consequences, and to start establishing some ethical guidelines, some rules of the road for this technology. And this, my friend, is where you, our listener, come in. We didn't want to just lay out all this info and leave you with, more questions than answers. This is where the real deep dive starts. And it's going to take all of us to really grapple with these incredibly complex questions to figure out what this all means.
It's bigger than Baichuan-Omni, isn't it? This is about the future we're creating with AI, all of us.
100%. So as you continue to, explore the world of AI, learn more about Baichuan-Omni and what it can do, we want to leave you with this. What do you envision for the future of AI? Knowing that something this powerful is now out in the open, what will you build? What will you question? It's up to all of us to decide.
That's it for today's deep dive. Until next time, keep asking those tough questions and keep diving deeper.